If you have debt right now, you are not alone. The average American carries thousands of dollars across credit cards, student loans, car payments, and personal loans. And most people have no clear plan for getting out, not because they are not trying, but because nobody ever taught them the most effective ways to do it. Today we are going through two of the most widely discussed debt payoff strategies in personal finance. We will explain exactly how each one works, which one saves you the most money, and which one might actually be easier to stick to. Let us get into it. Welcome to Yield Report Daily, where we break down personal finance in plain English. No jargon, no financial advice, just clear education you can actually use. Everything in this video is for educational purposes only. We are not financial advisors, and nothing here is a recommendation. If you are new here, subscribe because we post a new video every week. Now, debt. How do you actually get rid of it as fast as possible? Let us start with the basics. Before you can pay off debt fast, you need a clear picture of what you actually owe. That means knowing three things for every debt you carry: the balance, the interest rate, and the minimum monthly payment. If you have a credit card with a $2,000 balance at 24% interest, and a student loan with a $10,000 balance at 5% interest, these are very different problems, even though the student loan is much larger. The credit card is costing you far more in interest relative to its size. That distinction matters a lot depending on which payoff strategy you choose. So before anything else, write down every debt you have with those three numbers: balance, rate, minimum payment. That list is your starting point. The first strategy is called the debt avalanche method. Here is how it works. You make the minimum payment on every single debt you carry each month, then you take any extra money you have available and throw all of it at the debt with the highest interest rate first. Once that debt is completely paid off, you take everything you were paying toward it and roll it into the next highest interest rate debt. You keep going until every debt is gone. The reason this method is so widely discussed in personal finance is that it is mathematically the most efficient approach. You are eliminating the most expensive debt first, which means you pay less total interest over the life of your debts. For someone with multiple debts, at different rates, the avalanche method can save hundreds or even thousands of dollars compared to other approaches. The downside is psychological. If your highest interest debt also has a large balance, it can take a long time before you see it disappear. Some people find that discouraging and lose momentum before the method has a chance to work. The second strategy is called the debt snowball method. This one works differently. Again, you make the minimum payment on every debt each month, but instead of targeting the highest interest rate first, you put all your extra money toward the debt with the smallest balance first, regardless of the interest rate. Once that small debt is gone, you roll what you were paying on it into the next smallest balance, and so on. The snowball method was popularized by personal finance educator Dave Ramsey, and the idea behind it is entirely psychological. When you wipe out a small debt completely, you get a win. That win creates momentum. That momentum keeps you going. Research in behavioral finance has suggested that people who use the snowball method are more likely to stick with their debt payoff plan long enough to actually finish it. The trade-off is that you will likely pay more in total interest compared to the avalanche method, because you might be ignoring high-interest debts while you clear smaller, low-interest ones first. Neither method is universally better. The best method is the one you will actually stick to. Let us look at a simple example to make this concrete. Say you have three debts. Credit card A with a $500 balance at 20% interest and a minimum payment of $25 a month. Credit card B with a $2,000 balance at 15% interest and a minimum payment of $60 a month. A personal loan with $4,000 at 8% interest and a minimum payment of $100 a month. Using the avalanche method, you would attack credit card A first. because it has the highest interest rate. Using the snowball method, you would also attack credit card A first, because it also happens to have the smallest balance. In this example, both methods point to the same debt. But if credit card A had a $5,000 balance instead of $500, the two methods would diverge. Avalanche would still target it first. Snowball would target the smaller balance debt regardless. The mathematical savings from Avalanche are real, but research consistently shows that the psychological wins from Snowball help more people actually finish the journey. If you are disciplined and motivated by numbers, Avalanche may suit you better. If you need visible wins to stay on track, Snowball may be the more practical choice. Section 5. Additional strategies to accelerate payoff. Whichever method you choose, there are a few other widely discussed strategies that can accelerate your payoff timeline significantly. The first is balance transfers. Some credit cards offer 0% interest for an introductory period, often 12 to 21 months when you transfer a balance from another card. If you qualify for one of these cards, moving a high-interest balance to a 0% card can pause the interest clock while you pay down the principal. The key is to pay off the balance before the promotional period ends, because after that the standard rate kicks in. The second is debt consolidation loans. This involves taking out a personal loan at a lower interest rate to pay off multiple higher-rate debts, leaving you with a single monthly payment. The third is simply increasing the amount you pay each month. Going back to our 50-30-20 rule from last week, one approach widely discussed is temporarily reducing the wants bucket and directing more into the savings and debt bucket. Even an extra $50 or $100 a month toward your target debt can meaningfully shorten the payoff timeline. A budgeting app like Winab or Monarch Money can help you find where that extra money might come from in your current spending. A few mistakes that commonly come up when people try to pay off debt. The first is not having a small emergency fund before aggressively paying down debt. If you put every spare dollar into debt and then an unexpected expense hits, you will likely go straight back onto a credit card. Many personal finance educators discuss keeping a small starter emergency fund of around $1,000 in place before going hard on debt payoff. If you missed our video on emergency funds, the link is in the description. The second mistake is continuing to add to the debt you are trying to pay off. If you are putting extra money toward a credit card every month but still using the same card for spending, you are running in place. The third mistake is not tracking your progress. Paying off debt is not complicated, but it does require a plan. Avalanche saves you the most money mathematically. Snowball gives you the most psychological momentum. Both work. Pick the one that fits how you are wired and stick with it. Links to the tools mentioned in this video are in the description below. If you found this helpful, subscribe to Yield Report Daily. We publish a new personal finance video every single week in plain English with no jargon. And if you want to go back a step before tackling debt, our video on the 50-30-20 budgeting rule is the natural starting point. Link on screen now. See you in the next one.